Welcome, everybody, to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, and I am telling you this. If I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. Let's start with this. Let's open up this podcast with this quote. This is coming from a book called The Millionaire Fast Lane by M.J. DeMarco. And it says, extraordinary wealth will require you to have extraordinary beliefs. All right. And I think that this just dovetails perfectly in the conversation that we're going to have on the podcast today, because this is the second time on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast that I am bringing to the show from Sarasota, Florida, Adrian Lozano. Adrian, say hello to everybody.
What's going on, everybody? TTP and Wholesale Inc. Everybody, what's going on?
Well, I'm excited to have you back on here. If you guys haven't heard the first episode, definitely check that out. You're going to get the whole story of how Adrian was struck by lightning and turned into a superhero. No, but he's from Sarasota, Florida, and the whole theme of this podcast today is multiple streams of income. Okay, Adrian has figured out a way that he can get paid 3 times on every single wholesale deal, or at least the ones that he chooses to do this with. But he finds ways to get paid 3 different ways. So, Adrian, how do you get paid 3 times on one deal? Why don't we break that down and then we'll really dig into it?
Okay, so if you heard from the last podcast, you guys know that I'm a real estate agent as well. So I hold my license. And before I started TTP, I was doing full rehabs. I'm an investor, fix and flip. That's all I was. So I know how to do the rehab as well. So the 3 ways that I got paid, that I'm getting paid now, is to wholesale it. 1, then I turn around and tell my investors, you know, while I'm wholesaling it, is, hey, I can do the rehab as well and list the property for you. So I get my wholesale fee, my rehab project manager, I do the whole thing. And then I list the property and I get paid my real estate commission as well.
Absolutely incredible. So let's dig into this a little bit, because I think it's real important. There's a question on a lot of people's mind on whether or not to get a real estate license. And for me, when I was 22, I thought that you had to get a real estate license to understand real estate, to understand how to speak the language, how to understand the process and the paperwork and all these things. I came to find out that it's actually a pretty simple process if you let other people do most of the work, like your closing attorney and your escrow officer, and you have really good cash buyers. You don't necessarily need a license. But let's go. I want you to give me the pros and the cons of getting a real estate license.
So kind of piggybacking on what you said, it's simple. I mean, I tell everybody that kind of asks me, like, should I get my license? And I say, you know what? You're going to learn a lot more just jumping into it and learning the process. And as long as you get the good team, you know, your real estate attorney, your title company, you know, even real estate agents, they're going to show you pretty much the way to go. The reason why I got my license was I got tired of finding an agent to list my properties. That's the only reason. It wasn't, I'm going to get it because I'm going to learn more. I actually, when I went to get my license and I became an agent, I realized really fast that I knew a lot more than agents did, which was kind of funny. It's like they're the ones, they're the go-to, but I mean, you have your listing agent, you have your buyer's agent, and those two are different breed, and they help you. You know, they can help you in your business as a real estate investor. So when I went in there, I think I learned a little bit more of the paperwork, which is great. But on the turnaround, it was red tape everywhere. Now I had to tread lightly through my contracts and everything, because I have to pretty much let them know, hey, I'm a real estate agent as well. So for those that, you know, that jump in, I suggest that you do it just as an investor, unless you want to list your properties, you know, kind of go into that realm as well, which is great. but talk to a professional, talk to an attorney and say, listen, this is what I want to do. What can I do? What can't I do? I mean, we can have several podcasts and say the pros and cons about, being an agent and an investor, if that's what you want to do, So, I mean, it's great. I do it. The last few deals that I did, and I kind of stumbled into this, and it was great. I got the property wholesaled to my investor, and he knew that I did rehabs as well. He knew the homes that I flipped, and he's like, "Hey, do this for me, and get the listing as well." And I thought about it. I sat back. I was like, "Why haven't I done this?" And it just so happened that we started doing multiple deals like that.
I love it. And something to point out here, Adrian, and you can give me your experience in Florida, but in Arizona, if I pull up 10 flip properties, right, that have sold or on the market or under contract on the MLS right now, I would say 8 out of 10 of them are owner agents, right? Mm-hmm. The flippers are the actual investors, but they have their own license. And the only reason they got their license was to list their own properties, because you look at the spreadsheet and you look at how much you net on every single deal, and you realize, wait a second, I can save 1.5%, 2%, 3% on every single deal. If I'm going to do multiple deals this year, I'm going to save tens of thousands of dollars if I list them myself. And the reason I bring this up, not for some long, boring, drawn out, what do real estate agents do? But the reason I bring that up is everybody should be reaching out to listed properties, to the listing agent on flip properties, and see if they're the actual investor, because I'm telling you, they typically are. These are incredible buyers. They make quick decisions. They understand how to comp. They don't have to get other parties involved to figure out and make a decision on these things. They just make a decision quick, and they're great cash buyers. Is it the same in Florida?
Correct. And you bring up a good point too. You don't have to hold their hand. They already know. You just send them the property, and some, wholesalers, they want to go through the whole thing and show them, here's the rehab, here's how much and give them a book. I don't do that. Yep. Here's the property, here's the address, this is the price. You go do it, because listen, I'm a rehabber. My cost might be different than yours. Go look at it. So those agents, those owner agents, they know what's going on. So you don't have to go back and forth. Here's the price, here it is, let's go. Make the deal happen.
And I think it's really interesting, Adrian, what's going on throughout the country where they are requiring people to get a real estate license. And there's a couple different reasons for that. One is they see the amount of money that we make and they want a piece of it. The brokerages want it. The brokerages talk to an organization called NAR, National Association of Realtors. It's one of the biggest lobbying groups in the country. Okay. Yep. You can't even get into on an MLS. I'm telling you, 99.999% of real estate licensed people are part of NAR, because that's the only way that you get access to the MLS. Right. Correct. So you have to join an association and you have to pay your dues. Those dues go to lobbying so that realtors always have a job.
Yeah, and they're getting more strict. I mean, you used to be able to be an assistant, quote unquote assistant, under an agent, which investors did all the time. They would find a friend and be an assistant and be able to log into the MLS. They have cut that off now. So now you actually have to be licensed to even become an assistant as well.
Well, and here's the thing that if people are worried, if you're listening to this or watching this, you can definitely watch this at Brent Daniels' YouTube channel. Definitely check us out. But if you're just listening to this, the beautiful thing, or watching, whatever, the beautiful thing about this is it creates a market. And the market that's going to happen is you're going to get more investor-friendly real estate brokerages opening up, or existing brokerages, having open arms to wholesale transactions. So don't run for the hills. The sky's not falling. If you need to get a license, get a license. Just find a broker and a brokerage that understands wholesaling properties, that understands investors, and that will encourage and nurture you. There are people. We have Steve Trang here that does Real Estate Disruptors, has a brokerage. I hang my license with Steve Trang's brokerage, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It couldn't be better. So anybody in Arizona, if you need that, Stunning Homes Realty, that's where you want to go. But I assume you found one yourself.
Yeah, well, it's one of my partners. So he opened up the brokerage just so we can do our properties. And we were going through the MLS finding properties on there, and just cut out the agent off of it. So we became our own.
I love it. So let's give people the nitty gritty on what this looks like, on how you make 3 different checks on one lead. Okay. Because you're still out there, you're still being proactive, you're still getting a ton of leads, you're converting these leads. You're on another level right now. You're doing incredible things, but let's break down a specific deal so that we can kind of dissect how to get paid 3 ways.
Okay. So let's start with, there was a multifamily property. And again, for those that didn't listen to the last podcast we were on, I have agents. When I first started, before becoming an agent myself, I would call and market to agents and let them know, hey, I'm an investor. If you have anything off market you don't want to list, send it over to me. I'll pay cash. And it's done me very well. So I had an agent give me a call. I haven't done business with her for a while. And she's like, Adrian, do you still do it? I said, yes, of course. She sent me the lead. I went and talked to the owner. We settled on a price. And here's another thing as well. So when you guys do a contract, you have your inspection date. Okay. Usually the go is about 15 days, right? For the inspection. That gives you the time to market, find the buyer, get all the inspections done and do it right. Well,
so let me just real quick, Adrian. So for anybody that is not familiar, when you put a property under contract, that starts day 1 of your inspection period. Okay. Right. Then you have a certain amount, whatever's agreed on in the contract, whether it be 10 now during, the pandemic, we've been trying to extend inspection periods just to accommodate everybody, but 15 days. So you have a 15-day window there to do exactly what Adrian's talking about, to do the due diligence, to get the pictures out there, to make sure that the numbers are right, to get it in front of your cash buyers, to show them the property and assign the deal.
Correct. And one thing that a lot of people do is they try to lowball a house right off the bat, and they lose out on the deal. And what I do is I kind of get somewhere in the middle for the seller and myself that's comfortable that we can still make a deal, because I'm not going to let a deal just fall through because of price. I'll go ahead and put it under contract. And within the inspection date is now I start finding stuff. Oh, hey, Mrs. Seller, I found this and this and this and that. So now I start picking at it, because I tell them right off the bat, hey, I do my own homes. I know I don't need a full inspector, but I'm going to bring my contractors by to look at it as well, give me their opinion. So once I did that, I was actually able to lower another $20,000 off of the asking price. And that's actually what got me my wholesale deal. So once I did that, I did my bandit signs, I did my market, and found my investor. I sent him all the information, and we got it under contract, I think within 30 hours, I think, of it. I blasted it off, and I had other agents and everyone giving me a call, as well. Once I had that done, I think we sold it. Yeah, we had it. The deposit was made within 30 hours, I think. So that was a $20,000 hit, a double close. So after the fees, I believe it was just under 19,000. So it was an ABC close, and then it started the construction, which this one was a light.
What do you mean an ABC close? Explain that.
ABC close is I am closing. A is the seller, B is myself. So I close that part of the transaction, and now I close with the C, which is my buyer, the investor. And what happens is, and again, you have to find the right title company the right attorneys, real estate attorneys, to do this, because now, you're not going to just go into an average title company and they're going to do a double close. A lot of people now shy away from that, and they just want a clean transaction where it's just you're closing. You're using your own funds, and you can find it at a transactional funder to do that for you if you need it, if you don't have the funds to do it. But they won't use your seller's money to close the first deal.
So are you double closing or double escrow?
It's double close.
Okay. So you're bringing in the money yourself.
Correct.
You are a transactional.
Yes and no. I use their money as well.
Okay.
So if I don't have it, they fund it for me. So my attorney always gives me a call and asks me what type of transaction we're doing, and that kind of gives him the where he's going to step around. And usually, our investors, they don't care if it's an assignment under 10,000. Usually, if we're doing anything above, we'll do a double close.
Got it. And here's the thing, guys. If you want to find out, if in the back of your mind you're like, how do I find an escrow officer that is familiar with this and do this? Simply go into Facebook groups, any real estate investing Facebook groups on Facebook, and just ask the question: who is the best closing attorney? Who is the best escrow officer to do double escrow or double closing in Sarasota, in Phoenix, in wherever, Dallas, anywhere that you're at, and then get a response from there, and then reach out to them and explain to them what you're trying to do and make sure that they're on board and that they can do it. That's the easiest way to do it. Or just get a referral from a mentor or somebody else that's doing business in the area. If you've got some people that you really respect, or maybe you're following, or maybe you've met at a meetup, just ask them and get a referral. Referrals are the best. Don't just go around calling title companies and asking. You're going to feel very defeated very quickly.
Yep.
Okay, so you double close this thing. You make 19,000 first check. Okay, I'm not ringing the bell until we go through all three. All right. So the second one is you get paid to run the construction crew.
Correct. So, okay. And again, I wouldn't advise someone that's just starting out to run the rehab. Definitely do a few, or help somebody out. Start learning it yourself. If you're not there yet, find someone that can mentor you, and just say, hey, can I just shadow you? Let's see how it's done. But yeah, I did the rehab, and the rehab was a light rehab. It was paint, clean, landscape, very simple. Made $6,000 off of that.
And do you have like a base fee that you charge, or is it a percentage?
Is
it baked into the cost of the rehab?
The cost of the rehab.
So you have your own subs, right? You have your own tradesmen that do all these things.
Correct.
Okay.
So I did that, and then within 2 weeks, we were able to list the property on the MLS. So I did the listing, and we sold it. We sold it within the weekend. It was an investor special because it still needed some work, but we just wholesaled it.
Yep.
So for those that don't know what wholesale is, it's one that is in a pretty bad situation. We go in there, we close on it, we clean it up, we dress it up, we paint, just do lipstick, but we also disclose, hey, it still needs work. So others come in, they know it, there's still work that needs to be done, but there's enough equity there to make some money. So we sold it.
You list it as is condition?
As is. All of the properties that we have are all as is. Even if it's a full rehab, it's still all as is.
Yep.
And that's for liability purposes. So we listed the property, sold it, and that carried over, not knowing it was a cash deal transaction, but the investor was getting a hard money loan. So it extended 2 weeks after, at the closing that we were supposed to do, is extended another 2 weeks. Regardless, I made another $8,500 on the listing. So it was just over, I believe, 30,000, 33,000.
So what do you charge? What percentage do you charge your investor?
It was a 3%, so 6% in total. Yep.
Fantastic. What is this conversation? Well, first of all, what was the total that you made on it?
It was just around 33,000 in total. Love it.
So listen, here's the beautiful thing. He could have made 19 on this. He could have just made 19 and just been done, but he put in the extra work. He provided more value to this investor. What is the question I have, Adrian, is what is the conversation like with the investor that says, hey, listen, I can do all these things for you. Yeah, I'm going to make more money on it, but I can handle all this for you. What is it? How do you convince a cash buyer not to do it themselves, but to let you handle everything?
Well, you have to understand that some of these investors have other jobs. They're doctors, they're lawyers. They have the money, they need to put it somewhere. They just don't have the time to do it. So, when I sell it to them, or, when I'm advertising, I send them my company website and I tell them this is what I do. This is my full-time job. I don't do anything else. I eat, sleep, breathe, real estate, rehab, everything. So I'm going to give you the top number that you can make off of the property. And I'll help you out doing so. You don't want to deal with it, just give it to me and I'll run it and I'll just send you updates. They get pictures, they get, they'll have an invoice with pictures on it, and every step of the way I'm showing them what's going on. So I made 33, I believe, off of it. The investor made 50, 55, 57 off of it. So he was happy. He
for doing nothing, for having money.
He just signed a couple forms and that was it. And it was all e-document.
And he didn't even, I mean, if you look at his return on investment, because you said he got a hard money loan, right? So
the investor that bought off of me was a cash buyer. The one that bought the end buyer.
Oh, the end buyer was. Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, but everybody's happy. What did your investor make on it?
Yeah, he made 50. He made
55.
55. Yep.
Incredible. So he bought this thing and gets a $55,000 return. How fast was this start to finish?
I believe we closed. This was about 50 days.
Oh, I mean, guys, listen. This is a very, very, very appealing return on investment for people out there that don't have the time, but need to put their money somewhere. They need to get a return on their money somewhere. They have that real estate investing itch, but they don't know how to scratch. So if you do, listen, let's just say tomorrow they wave a wand and everybody has to get a real estate license to do wholesale. Adrian just gave you the blueprint on how to get paid, at least 2 times. And then if you get expertise on picking out your crew, your construction crew, you can get paid 3 times. So listen, there is always benefit when there is change. Okay. We just have to learn how to adapt and how to change and how to move and how to get in there and understand that there is opportunity. There's opportunity Definitely. When things change. So, I mean, that's beautiful, Adrian. I mean, I think that is, listen, it's not a hard sell, right? If you put it out there that this is what you do in the upfront messaging when you're blasting out your deals, you're going to find opportunities like this. So really all you do is just let people know when you blast out the property that you can do all these other things.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the only thing, brother, here's a couple of things, right? The only thing you're missing now is, one, you have to be the bank and start funding these guys, right? Have them put a down payment and fund them, right? And then 2, you should just probably buy a title company at some point and get paid there too. Right. And then you get paid all the way, right?
That's it.
I mean, listen, guys, I say that kind of in jest, but he could absolutely do this. There are so many paths. If you look at how many people get paid in a real estate transaction, yes, you can just be wholesale and focus on that. But as your business evolves, as that process gets into a rhythm where you're consistently closing deals, there are other paths. Yeah, exactly. There are multiple paths of income on every single deal. Look who gets paid and find a way to be able to provide that service, to provide that value, and you could get paid double, triple what you typically would on every single deal. I love it. I have some some of my great friends here, Pace Morby, Jamil Damji here in Phoenix, they own title companies, right? And they make a ton off of it. And they are now hard money lenders. I mean, that's the progression, I think. I mean, have you thought about that, Adrian?
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to be in the future for sure. As long I keep doing this and I keep running into people that know the business, and that's exactly what you said. Find that person that knows. That's a game in it. That's all they do, and partner up with them. Like I said, my business has grown because I'm not a person of greed. I bring a person on. I know their value. They know my value, and we make money that way. So I don't do it just by myself. I have a team.
All right, Adrian, your top lead generation channel. What are you doing right now?
Driving for dollars and calling them.
Oh, just finding ugly houses and talking to the owners.
That is it. Everything else, I'm telling you, I say it, TTP all the way.
Yep.
There's nothing. I mean, you can do what everyone's doing and go online and get a list, build a list, and it's great. You're gonna find those homes. Everyone does, as long as you're consistent. But you drive in your area, you're targeting your area where you live. You're gonna find those homes, and as long as you're following up and you keep doing it, you're gonna get them. That's it.
Are you using an app?
I use
for your driving for dollars.
I use Landglide. There's another one that I use, property. There's Landglide. There's
Property Radar.
I'm sorry.
Do you have Property Radar in Florida?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, phenomenal resources there. We use Deal Machine in our business. Check out all those
for the postcards.
We use Deal Machine. Yep. We do have a discount. We do have a relationship with them, with Deal Machine, because we're just, I find them the easiest to use. Use TTP discount code. You get it 20% off or $10 off a month. So definitely check that out. But Adrian, speak now. I want to know your dream. I want to know your goal. I want to know where you're going to be 5 years from now. What does that vision look like? Because I want you to be able to look back on this interview on my YouTube channel, see a 5-year younger version of yourself saying this. So what is the 5 year? What does that look like?
Well, 5 year, I think I'll have less gray on my chin. I don't know if I'm going to diet or not, but no. 5 years, I think we're going to expand and cover much ground. I want to partner up with a few other investors and actually, do what we're doing and, just keep doubling it.
Yep.
Everyone's worried about COVID, Corona. That's not going away. Those that are scared and are going to buckle down, they're not going to survive. They're not going to do anything. Right. And I tell everybody that, that I talk to, listen, it's going to keep going. We're going to make money. If the market crashes, guess what? We're still there. We're providing a service. So we're helping people. We're helping sellers. We're helping investors. So it goes both ways. We're still going to make money as long as you're going. I closed a house when we were shut down. I closed one of my flip properties in 6 days. So, and that was during shutdown. No one was able to go to the house. No one was able to preview it. We got the contract and we closed. And the same thing with that multifamily. It was during Corona. So, if you don't want to succeed, you'll find an excuse. Plain and simple. If you want to make it happen, you're gonna do it. You have to breathe, and that's it.
Listen, extraordinary beliefs, right? If you want extraordinary wealth, you have to have extraordinary beliefs. That's what we started this podcast on, and that's the absolute truth. So, Adrian, how do people find you? How do they show you some love?
Well, I'm not really much on social media other than when I list my properties, but you can email me. You can. There's a website that I have. It's rapidhomeoffer.com. So I have my email there, adrian@rapidhomeoffer.com. For those that want to learn more in actual investing, showing investors, I have my website for investors that go there. That's Adrian@Premier International Investments. It's a little long, but premierinternationalinvestments.com is the website. So they can kind of see that. Fix, flip, wholesale, repeat. That's my Instagram.
I love it. Look at that. Say that one more time on Instagram.
Fix, flip, wholesale, repeat.
Awesome. Adrian, thank you so much for being on here again. If you come back on to the podcast, it's because you are doing amazing things and you have just an incredible heart for providing value and service. So everybody listening to this, listen, if this is stirring up some thoughts in your head and you're thinking, oh yeah, I can get paid a lot more in each and every deal, you need to reach out to Adrian. Reach out to him. He's here to help. He's he's a incredible rhino in this rhino tribe, and so reach out to him. So Adrian, thank you, brother. Absolutely incredible.
And let me say one more thing.
Yeah,
you are a giver. Brent Daniels is a giver. TTP, Wholesale Inc. I mean, you guys just feed everybody information, and your programs. And I'll tell you, if you're living off of credit cards, your investment, your future is on you. And if you want to do it, put it on a credit card, because you're going to learn so much. You're going to get so much value. And I'm telling you, when I bought your mentoring program, it opened up a whole new book, a whole new chapter in my life, and I use it every day. So I mean, you're a giver. You do this for free. You do the podcast, and I mean, so many people learn off of it. But when you get the mentorship, I mean, it's an eye opener. It changes your life. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Adrian. And that leads perfectly. If you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family, the TTP program. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check it out. Scroll down. Check out all the testimonials. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. I'd love to work with you personally. Thank you, Adrian. And for everybody out there, I love you guys. And as always, I encourage you to talk to people. Till next time. See ya.
See ya.